I just wanted to touch on a little bit of what you said earlier, where you talked about how it's this Calvinistic mindset. But this idea that certain people should suffer is so normalized in our society. Think of how many Christians that absolutely they foam at the mouth of the idea of people that they disagree with or dislike burning in hell for all
Yeah,
eternity. Like they get so gleefully excited about that.
they do.
It's
They
wild,
do.
you know, people
Yeah.
really want others to suffer, and I can't comprehend that mindset, but it
Yeah.
drives so much policy. It's sad.
It's how they feel about like Gaza and everything. Like they are ecstatic
Oh
hearing
God.
about Gazans being killed. Like it is, they get rock hard every time they hear that, you know, another hospital was destroyed in Gaza. And it's just like, man, I don't know how you sleep at night. I really don't.
I know we're
I
not
don't.
talking about it, but there's one functioning hospital in Gaza, and
I
it's
saw that.
surrounded by the IDF now. There were 36 3 months ago.
Did you
36
do a video
hospitals,
on
and
that? Because I saw something that exact same
yeah,
thing, 36 and
it
okay,
was
all
me.
right, okay. I was like,
I was very
that's
upset
weird.
about
So,
that was like
yeah,
2 days ago. I said the exact same thing on TikTok, but every single time I post a video about what's happening in Palestine, I get comments, and it's not lost on me that every single time these commenters look like me, and they're sitting, you know, from their houses in America or Canada or some part of Europe, you know, talking about how we should turn Gaza into a parking lot. Like
it
I'm filtering comments every single time I post about just again, just like you just said, like this gleeful excitement at the suffering of others.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was very like I was 100% serious when I mentioned them getting hard. Like it's a sexual libidinal excitement they get over this, and it is so horrifying. And like even like it reminds me of like the early days of the war on terror when people were saying we need to turn the Middle East into, you know, a glass parking lot or something like that. Like it's just horrifying. I don't know how you can say it with a straight face and not just recoil at everything that you just said. It's some dark shit.
Well, and I think this comes back to again, I keep saying it, but this propaganda, this us versus them mentality that has been sewn into the fabric of so many of these organizations in
Yeah.
America, in the church, in law enforcement, in so many of them. There's this idea that some people, again, you said it earlier, are just undeserving and they're bad people, and because they're bad or because they're other in some way, then everything that happens to them is justified and deserving.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
right.
wild.
It always makes me go like when someone says something like that, just so obviously awful. I'm just like, we watched the same movies as a kid, right?
Yeah.
You also like grew up on like Pixar movies and shit. Like this is so basic, like obvious bad guy talk, and you're just saying it outright with no fucking self-awareness. And I
Zero.
just cannot believe it because it's like fundamental moral concepts just go out the window whenever you're making a certain group of people suffer.
Yeah, I one of the earliest videos I ever made on TikTok. I remember I was sitting on my porch and I had the video and I was talking about how um talking with conservatives is like sitting on a couch with someone who watched Star Wars for the first time. At the end of the movie, they thought Darth Vader was the protagonist, and like they looked you right in the eye, and it's like, wait, Vader was the good guy, right? And, what? It's like, hold on, like Darth Vader is there. He's 7 feet tall. He's dressed in all black. He's threatening like, you know, women and children and shit. He's just like he's in charge of the greatest empire in the galaxy, slaughtering people. And you think he's the good guy? This is exactly the same, because like you hear conservative politicians talk, they sound like movie villains. They get up there and saying the problems in our society are single moms, the problem in our society are minorities, the problem are immigrants. Come like, if you were watching a movie, everyone was like, okay, that's obviously the heartless, evil, performatively sociopathic bad guy. But conservatives can notice it in a movie, but in real life they're like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense, and that's how they are. And it's like, you're right, John. Like it's weird. Like I don't know how you. I understand conservatives don't have a great, you know, like mechanism for media criticism, but God, I'm not asking much. Like this is what we do for like 3-year-olds. They understand who the bad guy is
Like
in a movie,
you
right?
don't
And you guys get.
you don't have to recognize that America's the empire. That I can like give you a pass for not understanding.
Yeah,
But like Darth Vader being the bad guy should be pretty fucking clear.
it's like, Yeah, it's
I
weird.
got
It's
real
weird.
upset when Mark Hamill was very loudly endorsing the state of Israel on his
Mhm.
social media.
Really?
Because,
Yep.
like, how are you going to
Oh
literally be
no!
Skywalker?
Yeah.
How are you going to fight the Empire?
Holy
He's
shit! His
embracing
takes
his
are usually.
Ozai
Oh
role.
no!
I
Yeah,
know his
he
takes are usually better, but he's been
Yeah.
very pro-Israel.
He's very old too. I mean, I get like
Mhm.
it's like it. God, you know, he's got
I
to be like in his 70s. Yeah, I don't know. It's
I hate making that excuse, especially for people who I consider to
I
be
was gonna
relatively
say,
intelligent, but like
I know,
yeah,
but it's the
it's
trend
but I
is
mean,
there.
it's generations of unopposed propaganda. Like it's
Yes.
yeah,
decades of that propaganda being fed to you without any opposition, and you have to kind of go like, well, he might have never been exposed to any other viewpoint
Yeah.
in his entire life. It's very
Yeah.
possible. I
And
don't know.
and the richer you get, the more it's actually incredible that any like very rich, successful person has any decent takes at all. It's actually pretty impressive when that happens. So yeah. And especially something like this one where no one talks about it. Where honestly, I mean, I'm gonna be real. If you would ask me about this 6, 7 years ago, I probably would have said the same thing Mark Hamill said today.
Hmm.
I mean, it took some time for I learned, but yeah. Oh, God. Damn it, John, why'd you tell me that? Or Liz, why'd you tell me that?